Now, we all know the most dishonest people on social media are the so-called fact checkers. There's nothing more dishonest than lying about your background, motivation, and who funds you. Fact checkers do all those things. Almost all of them are pro-European activists and representatives of the anti-democratic establishment. They attack people on Twitter who dare to disagree with their paymasters. But this week, they hit an all-time low by claiming the Conservatives had no right to fact-check Jeremy Corbyn during a debate. And even Twitter threatened to ban the Conservatives if they dared to run a fact-check rebuttal against Corbyn ever again. These fact-checkers do not want patriots gate-cashing their own left-wing loving. And here, to help answer what we should do about these guys, is the YouTube star Mahyar Tousi. Mahyar, how worried should we be about this Twitter arty?
Oh, it's absolutely mental, because they've created a shrine of a concept, an industry that shouldn't exist, never existed before. And the fact-checking issue is that, as you said, is primarily organised by people who are already biased. For example, we were talking about Sue Wixley earlier, we were talking about the NHS being privatised or sold off to Donald Trump. Have you seen any of these fact-checkers mentioning that? Have you seen any of these fact-checkers saying, oh, actually, Donald Trump can't buy the NHS? And that's the issue that we have with it. And there's no problem with, so to clarify, what the Conservative Party did was a bit silly, it was unnecessary, but it was a bit of fun. They only did it throughout the actual debate, it was temporary, it was just fun. And I don't think any voter changed their mind by just looking at that Twitter account. Twitter is not the real life. And they were like, oh, well, you misled the people. And it's basically like the Vote Leave bus, £350 million all over again, and the election is now rigged. It's not the case.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? That's the point that you make. I don't have a problem with a fact checker setting up as a fact checker. That's what the Conservatives did, and that's what these lefties do. But the problem is, they absolutely refuse to be unbiased, and they force us to shut up.
Well, no, the issue is they think that fact checking has to be some sort of special humans that are completely impartial in their personal life, in their professional life, in their political life, and they're basically like the priests of their politics, whereas facts are facts. Anyone, as long as you're representing the fact, anyone could say it. Even Jeremy Corbyn could have some facts, and so this is a fact. And whereas they say political parties or someone who's already biased can't represent the fact. I have a YouTube channel, and the best way that I think we could move on when it comes to media and information is that instead of having organizations saying like Channel 4, we are impartial and we do fact-checking, all organization media should be clear that we're left-leaning, we're right-leaning, like the papers, and say what we're saying, this is our opinion. Oh, by the way, what we're saying in this bit is our fact. So every time I make a video, I say, this is a fact, this is my source, but by the way, my opinion on this is this. Always clarify, and people could watch the left and the right, up, down, and then they could form their own opinion. That's the best way.
But that is the problem, isn't it? It's this attempt to pretend to be neutral. Now, what you do is you say you're neutral in the sense that you are a conservative-minded person, and you're going to express your view in that way. You're going to be fair-minded about it, but you're not going to pretend to be Labour or Liberal Democrat or whatever. What amazes me when you look at Channel 4, when you look at the BBC, when you look at the fact-checkers online, and now increasingly when you look at Sky News, actually, these guys are coming at it with an agenda, just like you, but they're pretending they don't.
No, absolutely. Sky, for the record, are getting absolutely ridiculous these days, which is interesting. No one expected that. But during the 2016 referendum debate, there was a debate organised by the BBC, and I went to the broadcasting house, and I overheard a conversation of the staffers and the producers who were literally having, I mean, obviously I didn't record it, I have the evidence, but they were having a conversation about, okay, so this is how we reform the questions for the Remainers and the Brexiteers. I'm like, well, you guys are supposed to be impartial. And so the problem with the BBC or these organisations are not necessarily the presenters themselves, it's the people in the background. They're the ones that are shifting the actual agenda, and that's the problem.
See, I think the point that you made is absolutely right. It doesn't matter if somebody is biased. It doesn't matter if somebody comes in with an agenda. Nobody is accusing the BBC of lying. Nobody's accusing Channel 4 of lying. The problem is that they come in with a bent, if you like, and they don't admit what that is. If I pick up the Daily Mirror, I know that it's supportive of the Labour Party. If I pick up the Sun, I know it's likely to be supportive of the Conservatives. But actually, if I turn on my TV, that is just denied, isn't it?
No, it's because no one fact checks the fact checkers, and someone should. If we're going to have fact checkers, someone also has to fact check them, because they say that, as I said earlier, they want to create a church where if the fact checker says something, you have to believe it anyway. Whereas, for example, if the Conservative Party or Labour Party present a fact on an issue, you should be like, oh, okay, that's a fact. We're going to do our research, but fair enough. It's just let people say what they want. And this is, again, an attack on free speech in a different way.
But I'll tell you the other thing that worries me, just to broaden this into a wider issue. We keep hearing politicians say, this is too important to be political. We've got to put this out to experts. Now, actually, experts have an opinion, and that's based on certain assumptions. And I worry that time and time again, whether it be Ofcom, whether it be the Electoral Commission, whether it be, any one of these quangos, the BBC Trust, whoever it is, actually, every time you cede power to one of these groups of experts, actually it means there's no longer any democratic control, and we become a less democratic country as a result.
Now, I'll give you an example. It's a weird one, but for anyone who's watched The Thick of It, the TV show, there was an episode where the minister said, I found an expert who said this about our policy, it's not good. And then the advisor said, well, go find the right expert. And you could find your own expert. Basically, that's what they do. Whether politicians or business or any organization or media, they automatically, sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously, they go find the expert that agrees with them. That's what the Remainers did. They always found the experts, the so-called expert that said in leaving the EU, basically we're all going to die. And that's the issue. I could bring you a different expert. It's the same with climate change. You could find experts who say it's real, it's not real, it's man-made, it's not man-made. And so the best way, as I said, is to encourage people to look at all sides and left, right, and then form your own opinion. Do your own research, form your own opinion. Don't create an untouchable church and saying these people, you have to believe what they say. Everybody else, don't believe any fact, because that's not a fact.
So look, people have been pretty stunned by the success of the Mahyar Tousi YouTube channel. What's next for you?
I think, so I was kind of worried because when Boris said we're going to get Brexit done at the end of October, because I said, what am I going to talk about after Brexit?
Don't worry. I think there'll be a few years of arguments before that happens.
So special thanks to Oliver Letwin for ruining Brexit for everyone. And we have this election now. So I think what I'm going to be doing, I found my niche, which is after Theresa May failing to deliver Brexit, a lot of people moved from the mainstream media to YouTube and social media in general. And they want to, not that they completely distrust mainstream media and they fully trust a random person on YouTube, but it's just a new perspective. So I can continue this with everyday news and obviously domestic politics, and especially now I'm talking about what's happening in Iran because no one's talking about it in the mainstream media. There's a media blackout. Obviously what happens next year in the American elections, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll try my best to basically have my opinion, but say I'm trying to bring you the truth. My job is to expose the other side. I'm not going to defend my own side fully because that's ridiculous, because then I can sometimes criticise the Tories as well. So.
Absolutely. So Mahyar Tousi, thank you so much. That's Mahyar Tousi, the YouTube star.